coming to you from my now familiar broadcast studio, which is actually my dining room. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get into the actual LNP broadcast studio later on this football season. But for now, we're here, and we're here to preview Penn State's 2021 football season, which means that we have to start by looking back at the 2020 football season, which opened for Penn State at Indiana, where it outgained the Hoosiers 488 to 211 and outrushed them 250 to 41, and were better on third down and were better on fourth down and had more rushing first downs and more passing first downs and dominated the game in most respects, and actually ended up scoring a touchdown that it shouldn't have and losing 36 to 35 in overtime on a 2-point conversion that wasn't a 2-point conversion. And the truth is, I believe that Penn State never really recovered from that game. The following week, they went home, Ohio State, well, with predictable results there. And week 3, they lost 35 to 19 at home to Maryland as a 27-point favorite in what may have been the worst performance that I've seen by Penn State since I've been covering the team. And soon they were 0-5 for the first time ever. And Penn State has been playing football since 1887. They were the first preseason top 10 team to be 0-5 ever in the history of college football. So our question for today, was that an aberration? Or was it evidence of real decline? And what does it mean for the Nittany Lions in the 2021 season that's about to begin? Now, my guess is that it was more aberration than ongoing dumpster fire. Penn State did win its last 4 after going 0-5. They did outscore their opponents overall. They outgained them substantially, and there are a couple of other statistical markers, without going too far down the rabbit hole of that stuff, that actually indicate fluke, actually indicate a team that was better than its one-loss record would indicate. Now, they did lose some important pieces. They lost 2 all Big Ten defensive ends who were really elite. I mean, NFL players. They lost a tight end who, same thing, elite NFL player, Pat Freiermuth, who probably is going to start for the Pittsburgh Steelers in a couple of weeks. But they have 16 starters back, not counting the kicker and the punter, who are also back. They have a 5th-year senior who is a 3-year starter at quarterback in Sean Clifford. And James Franklin has added to his coaching staff a big-time offensive coordinator, a guy named Mike Yurcich, who has been at Oklahoma State and Ohio State and Texas. I believe that if Yurcich can squeeze 10 to 15% more mastery of the position out of Clifford, the offense with 9 starters back, exceptional depth at the skill positions, a great player and a great playmaker in wide receiver Jahan Dotson, could be exceptional. Their offense could be really good. The defense is a little bit harder to figure. They have some holes to fill, but if anything, more athletic overall than the offense is. Guys like linebacker Brandon Smith. They have a safety named Jaquan Brisker, a junior college transfer. I mean, these guys have a chance to be great players on that side of the ball. There's no program in the country, if we're going to be honest, that doesn't have at least one position group with big doubts in August. And for Penn State, that group is the defensive line. Given the graduation to the NFL of Shaka Toney, the ends I was just talking about, Shaka Toney and Jason Oweh, and a serious injury to one of their best returning defensive linemen, Adisa Isaac, who might miss all or most of this season. They've got some holes to fill there, and that group gets a graduate level exam week 1 at Power Running, Wisconsin. Now that brings us to the schedule, which is formidable. The Wisconsin game in Madison is Penn State's first season opening conference game. in the Big Ten era, and it's their toughest season opener on paper in a long time. Las Vegas has Wisconsin as a 4.5-point favorite as I speak here. And Wisconsin and Iowa should be the Big Ten West Division's two best teams. Penn State has them both on the road. They also have Ohio State on the road. Auburn, a serious non-conference opponent from the SEC, comes to Happy Valley in week 3. And even the home opener, Ball State, believe it or not, Ball State, known for more than David Letterman as a famous alumnus, Ball State has 20 starters back from a team that went 7-1 and won their conference last year. So the schedule's legit. Bottom line, Penn State will be better than it was last year. It's very deep and athletic at the offensive skill positions and on the back end of the defense. I'm less sure how good they'll be up front on both sides of the ball, but they're going to be pretty good for sure. They're probably not a contender for the college football playoff, but if the Yurcich-Clifford marriage works out, a return to the national top 15 or so seems very reasonable. I'm predicting 9-3, 6-3 in the Big Ten, and that'll get them a pretty good bowl game around the holidays. So that's where I see it for 2021. Stay tuned all season for our Penn State coverage. We're going to be all over it starting in Madison, Wisconsin this week. That's it, gang. I'm Mike Gross for LancasterOnline.com.